Hi, this is Erin from BlossyB. Welcome to my channel. So the plan for this video is to create my first ever resin bowl using the soft cured moulding method. I'm going to use a Trivet mould, Resin Resin's fast cure 2:1 epoxy resin, brushed on mica powders and some dyed stone chips for the edge. Spoiler alert, I do not end up with a bowl that I can show you at the end. It didn't go to plan. So here we go using this Trivet Tray mould. Now I purchased these in a set of 4 after watching a video by Julie Cuts from Pouring Your Heart Out, where she used a mould, not sure if it was this one or similar to this one, and she actually formed it when it was not quite fully cured into a bowl by using another bowl as a mould or as a shape, a form. So that was the plan. So I'm using just a variety of mica powders. I've got all sort of different blues and greens, and my goal was to create an appearance sort of like a beautiful sort of a sea foam colour with the combination of blues and greens, quite calming and pretty. So I just start in the centre and work my way out. Now I'm using quite a soft brush, but in hindsight I wish it had been about half the length because I didn't have a lot of control over it and it kept bumping the camera and it was just annoying. So this is actually the first time I've ever dusted a mould like this, and lessons were learnt. So when you watch someone like Julie Cuts, you just realise, you know, the level of attention to detail and the amount of experience she has. And yes, so I need to keep watching, keep learning. So I decide to do symmetrical patterns when it comes towards the outer edges, and so doing those blues, and then I'm going to go in with this really pretty sort of like a muted jade green colour and blend those together. So it's not a difficult process. I know many of you do this quite regularly. As I said, it's the first time I've done it. It was a bit messy, but I'm hoping that it gives me a really lovely sort of a blended effect. So after I go and blow or tip the extra little bits of mica powder out and then sort of blow it off, I'm ready to mix my resin. So I'm using Resin Resin Fast Cure. I was so excited when this arrived the other day. Thank you to Fred from Resin Resin. Great company, great resin. So I'm going to measure out, it's a 2-part epoxy resin and it's a 2:1 ratio. So I'm going to mix accordingly. Now I'm not using my new resin mixer again. I just am finding it a pain to get out. So I think I need to try and rehome it closer to my workspace because it's not, well, I can say it's not working, but it's not working because I'm not putting it to work. So anyway, I'm just going to mix this resin up. They suggest an approximate mixing time of around about 3 minutes. It is a much faster curing resin than the deep cure the deep pour that I've been using, and it comes out beautiful and clear, and yeah, very happy with it. I did make some interesting choices along the way here, and I'll make sure that I detail those to you in case you have never done this before and you might like to try. Here's what not to do. So I've decanted a little bit of the clear resin into a smaller cup just so I've got a little bit more control. And I'm going to go ahead and just pour that all around that outer ring or edge of the mold. So my idea was to make a sort of a pretty edge, make it stand out a little bit and have it different from the rest of the bowl. And I decided to use these little, I presume they're just dyed little stone chips or something, but they're very pretty. They aren't very expensive. I think I got them from Temu or AliExpress. And so after I've put in that ring of clear resin, I can go ahead and tip in these little pieces, just really carefully, making sure if I can that I'm not getting them into the main part. I think the concept was good for this. It's just that in practice it didn't work out, but the edge looks really pretty, and these stones do actually, they have enough weight to them that they sink down, but they didn't break through that resin and make it sort of a rough surface. So I was really happy with them, but yeah, just wait, you'll see. Why did I do this? Look, it didn't matter in the end, but in hindsight, that's a very odd choice of mine to pour resin into the middle where the middle was not actually part of the mould. It was part of the negative space. So anyway, look, my idea was to pour it into the middle and then it would just move its way out all on its own. It didn't exactly do that, so I do go around and top up the other parts just with the resin. It's not that fine a mould that it's too difficult. I also give another little top coat around the edge as well. And then I just go in with a little tool and make sure that I ease back any of those little chips that might have got into the channels of the main part. So it's not a complicated pour by any means. The complicated part comes next. So after a couple of hours, it has cured to a soft state. So I am able to very carefully remove it from the mould, but it is still quite pliable. So the best way to do this, I found, was to place the mould down onto my flat surface and hold my hand onto the poured mould and just gently ease the silicone mould back away from it. And I took my time and it worked out really well. This part went great. And it's looking really pretty. These colours together are exactly what I wanted, that really pretty blue and green mix, like a almost mermaidy as well, I guess, just that really pretty ocean mix. So it does, as I said, demold really well. And now I've got the opportunity to grab a bowl and I'm going to sit my fairly soft cured piece into the bowl. I've actually coloured in the centre part of my bowl with a pencil, which washed off easily afterwards, just so that I could actually make sure it was centred. But this is where things started going wrong. So I'm going to point out a couple of things to you. Above my fingers up the top, you'll see that one of the edges is bulged out a little bit, and the same happens down the bottom left. And what happened, I think, is that the stones somehow made it so it just wasn't flexible enough, and the silicone started sort of breaking apart in those areas and giving me rough edges. So I tried for a few minutes on and off, and I just realised in the end that it wasn't going to happen. This was not my day to have a bowl. And that I would need to try again another day. So the concept was there, The idea was great. Gee, I threw that down a bit dramatically, didn't I? I was probably a bit over it by then. So what I did is I turned my heat mat on and I laid the piece back onto my Astoyo heating mat, and I let it warm up again, and then I just ran my hands over it and smoothed it down until I felt it was all back into the original form, and then I just let it finish its curing process for a couple of hours. So really happy with it in the end. It is a very pretty trivet tray. It is not a bowl, which is frustrating, but yeah, look, lessons were learned, and next time I will not put in those edges, and I will have another go because I think that the bowls that Julie has made are super pretty. So this is my trivet tray. And that's the underside, and then the top side, and yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. I would love to hear any suggestions or comments and thoughts on how I could have another go at this or improve the process. And if you enjoyed the video and learned something, perhaps give me a like, and it'd be great if you could subscribe as well. I have a very new channel really, and I want to keep growing my channel and keep providing tutorials. I'll show you a couple of photos of the finished product at the end. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.